All right, Rose, we have a quorum, so we're good to go.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. It's good to see your smiling faces. Happy Monday. I want to just read our mission and vision really quick. Our mission is to support Community Coalition's efforts to prevent youth substance abuse in Idaho. And our vision is safe and healthy Idaho communities free of substance abuse. And I'm Rose Sheff, and I am the chair for Community Coalitions of Idaho. So just to quickly introduce ourselves, Natasha.
I am Natasha Needham. I am the co-chair of CCI and the activities coordinator for the Clearwater Youth Alliance.
Cool. Grace.
Hi there, my name is Grace Wilkowski. I'm also sorry, I'm in an airport, so if you hear the weird airport noises, I apologize. I'm the executive director for Idaho Drug Free Youth and the secretary here at CCI. Thank you.
Cool. Danielle.
Good morning, everyone. Danielle Finopoulos. I'm the corporate director of outreach for the Imagine program by North Point, and I am the marketing seat.
Cool. Heather.
Hi there, I am Heather with Eastern Idaho Public Health. I am the vape and tobacco coordinator here.
Cool. Ryan.
Ryan Bertolotto, I'm the chief of police for the city of Haber.
Cool. Lindsay.
Bailey, I'm the program coordinator for Community Coalitions of Idaho.
A little more enthusiasm, girlfriend.
I know, I'm a little sick today, and so I'm sorry, but I'm happy to be here.
Okay, we're happy you're here too. Sylvia.
Sylvia Ryan with the New Life Coaching, and I'm a strengths coach, but I've also been involved in coalition work for many years, was part of CCI, and just here for support.
Cool. Miss Kelly.
Sorry, I had to unmute. I'm Kelly Cummins Brumley from Clearwater Youth Alliance. I'm the DFC project director.
Cool. Susie's on the phone, so Haley.
I'm never sure if you say Haley or Kaylee, so I'm just gonna go.
Haley.
Okay, Haley. So Haley Blog, Meridian Police Department. I'm the Anti-Drug Coalition Coordinator and then the Secretary for the Meridian Anti-Drug Coalition.
And then Kaylee.
Hi, I'm Kaylee. I'm the Partnership for Success Regional Coordinator for District 2.
And my friend Kendall.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kendall Nagy with the Meridian Anti-Drug Coalition.
Marianne.
Hello, this is Marianne. Sorry, my camera's not working. My laptop gets really hot if I turn on the camera. So I am the PFS coordinator in Health District 5.
Oh, David.
My name is David Phillips. I am the executive director for Community Coalitions of Idaho.
Am I missing anyone?
I don't think so. Susan Anderson's on a phone call, but Susan is the drug awareness program coordinator for the Elks Lodge and one of our partner members.
Cool. Okay, David, the rest of the meeting is yours. Hey,
Okay.
David.
Thanks, Rose. So next is the consent agenda. Both the minutes from the January meeting, we did not have a February meeting because both of us were in Washington, D.C. for forum, and so we have the minutes from January and the financial report from February and March that were sent to everybody. Does anybody have any questions, or can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Danielle.
I second it. Natasha seconds it.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, looks like we are good to go. All right, we'll move on from the consent agenda. Grace, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Okay. Hi, everyone. I am going to share my screen in just 1 second. I also want to let you guys know I have a little bit of a cold. So I'm sorry if I sound a little bit nasally or cough at you. I promise you can't get sick via the screen. So today we're going to talk a bit about, oh, am I allowed to admit people through the waiting room?
I got it.
Okay, I was not sure what you guys wanted back then. So we're going to talk about positive social norms. And this will just kind of be a brief overview. This is what our Youth Vision program is based upon. And we use this in the social network theory to create kind of our online culture for teens. And the reason it's important to talk about this is because when we're working with kids, positive social norms are kind of the new age way of talking. And it allows us to stay up with what they are wanting to hear these days. So with that, so the first thing to go over is just what are a social norm. And as it sounds, it's anything that is deemed normal, acceptable, applicable. A social norm is a norm in society. So this could be a good or a bad thing. It could be literally anything. Some that we typically think about is like when you go outside, you wear shoes usually. Having a cell phone is a social norm. There's no legal thing telling us all to own cell phones, but we all do. Or girls having long hair and boys having short hair. There's no rhyme or reason to that. It's such that it seems normal. And sometimes it's based in the science, sometimes religion plays a role, laws, or just something people have deemed typical. And they change over time. So not wearing seatbelts to wearing seatbelts, that's a change in social norms that was guided by a law versus kind of the change from cigarettes to vaping. There wasn't a law that changed that. That was just from the growth of things. So a norm that is positive, from the name, it's a positive social norm. So it can be used to change how an environment is working, how a community interacts, a workplace, maybe a generational change or self. And it's important that when we say something is deemed positive, that's relative. You know, someone could think it's good to drink as a minor. So obviously we wouldn't say that's a positive norm, but for them it is. So how do positive norms, social norms work? How do we use them? So it's based on a theory called the Positive Community Norms Framework. There's this amazing multi-day conference that you can do in Montana at the Montana Institute focused on this and the science of hope. But there's basically 4 core principles we're going to focus on. And then you develop the leadership of the individual you're working with. So if you're in a classroom or if you lead a company, for example, you develop the leadership skills of each person you oversee. You communicate unique strategies to each one of them. You know, what are their strengths? What are things that they're focused on? And then once you build those strong relationships, you can integrate changes through prevention resources if you're focused on drug use. If you're overseeing a company, like if you're overseeing 5 people and right now it's a norm to leave at 3:30 and you want your staff to start leaving at 5:30, you have to build a relationship to make that change. So you would integrate that at that stage 3. And then at stage 4, you just reflect together. So in practice, what that kind of looks like is working with a team, you focus on the positive, just highlighting something nice about them, you know, building that positive relationship. Then you educate on the actual norm. So typically what this looks like is you hear the kids say, well, everyone's vaping or everyone's doing this. When they say that, you're like, well, how do you know that? You know, I'm seeing this, and you kind of start changing the conversation to recognize what this structural norm is. The norm could be a data point, like it's, for example, people say everyone vapes. Something like 17% of kids actually vape. It's not a typical thing. So you would educate on that, supplement it with actions to change, and then you would see that lasting behavior change. It's a continuous cycle. You would do it with each norm you're trying to change and each community. And it's based on this really poorly done photo. But if you know theories, this is Bromfenberger's ecological theory, the one in the middle, that the individual is affected by families and peers, which is affected by the school and workplace and communities, and all of them affect each other. By implementing leadership skills, communication strategies, integrating all of that together with your norms, and then reflecting, you're going to see a change in your community. So how does this even work? Why do we know this matters? And how does this work specifically with the teams we're working with? The teams are highly influenced by their peers. They're always going to do what their peers are doing. They're always going to do what they think is cool. By being a positive role model, we are able to model to the teams how they should be acting. Something I always think about is my mom growing up. She smoked cigarettes, and she would always say, Grace, you shouldn't smoke cigarettes. But she was actively doing it. So what she's modeling is different. And so when I grew up, I was more likely to smoke cigarettes because my positive role model was doing that negative thing. Instead, if we're showcasing positive strengths and then they model that to their peers, they're going to see a community change. So a lot of it comes from engaging in open conversations about these norms instead of making it taboo to talk about substance use or what their fears are or worries are. We have those conversations of like, why are you worried about this? What's happening that you're upset about? And how do you see that changing? For example, if you're working with teens and they think it's horrible that all the kids are vaping in the bathroom, brainstorm with them ways that they can change that. And then they are changing their community instead of us telling them. And they get to be that positive role model to their other peers. And then how to give the youth those voice. So it's engaging in that open conversations related to positive social norms. If they have questions around drug use, giving them a space to ask those, giving them a chance to debunk and ask questions that maybe they thought were dumb to ask their friends or parents, or they're just going to Google online and get a weird answer. And then creating expectations to be followed. So at the fall CCI conference, we created with your table like a contract for everyone to follow, those rules and expectations. If you work with your teams to create that, they're more likely to follow those and hold each other accountable. That's why community contracts work so well. And then when you're working with youth and you give them a voice, they're more likely to follow and encourage. So if they want it to be the norm that every Friday people wear your school colors to school, working with them to create that norm is going to be more likely to catch on than if us adults are telling them that. And then finally, being intentional in the group organization to enhance the norms and leadership skills. Sometimes it's easy to find those kids that always want to lead, always want to talk, always want to have an interaction. If you're able to give those people a voice as well as the quiet ones, or maybe the ones that are putting up a hard time, you're going to be more successful. I think a lot, we have this camper named Ava who was really harsh, really liked to curse, really liked to be mean to the other campers. If we just wrote her off, she was never going to be helpful and she was more likely to use. By finding things she thought were her skills and harnessing those for positive, she has stayed with our program and been someone who is not involved in drug use, is actively involved with us, and is bringing in more kids that are high risk that need support from our programs. And then there's positive social norms and implementing them in person versus online. So in person, your goal can be seen up here. You're trying to change the organizational structure and see everyone's personal strengths. So first, you got to gain those individual relationships with each student, have that open conversation, give opportunities for skills and leadership to be showcased. That could be anything from letting kids facilitate to maybe the kid who doesn't talk but really is great at drawing. Maybe they make you guys a flag that you put up every time you're doing your prevention or something that highlights their skills. Maybe they take notes and then get to do it on pretty colors, totally up to you. And then encourage students to highlight the positive within themselves and others. We do that through warm fuzzies and then If you say negative of someone, you have to say, we call them cold pricklies. If you say like a hard thing, you have to give 2 positives, and it changes that framework to like, okay, it's not acceptable here to say negative things. This is a place of acceptance and support, period. And then begin dialogue about drug use and actual norms after that, and giving time for conversation, and slowly you'll see change. Online, it's a little bit different because you can't build the same relationship via the parasocial relationship. So you want your online presence as an organization to be a place that provides belonging for students or your target audience. And you're trying to kind of push back on the community and online norms that are encouraging substance use. Oh, I was taking a check, sorry. So, you know, for example, like hypersexualization of oneself or others is huge online. And it's pretty typical to show maybe a little bit more skin than what everyone is comfortable with. Like that's seen all the time online. If you're trying to push against that, you don't explicitly say like, do not show your body, do not do this, because you're just going to turn people off. Instead, you just create a culture where people want to be and feel belonging and support. You use things that, you know, draw them in, and you just be a positive light. And then you can slowly mix in whatever you want to talk about. Like, for example, how we use this as a youth vision is for every like 3 or 4 photos we post of a positive reflection, a moment to interact, then we say one drug thing. So it kind of breaks it up, and kids who maybe are in for the positive and don't care about the drug use, they get that while still getting the education alongside it, and you're building that relationship that will be longer lasting versus the follower that will come and go. So norm versus positive norm. So often positive norms are used in data, and this is what it looks like for data specifically. This is an actual data statistic from the Idaho Health and Youth Survey. If you were to state it as a typical norm, it would say in the past 30 days, 9.8% of kids have tried at least one drink of alcohol, or you'll hear 1 in 10 teens will use alcohol in the next 30 days. It's a little bit scary. A kid will be like, well, okay, then I'm going to go use because other people are using. Instead, if you frame that as 90% of kids, Idaho teens, or if you wanted to do the math and figure out the exact data percentage, 90% of Idaho teens have not used alcohol in the last 30 days, or 9 out of 10 teens did not drink in the last 30 days. It shows that that's not the typical thing that's happening, and therefore if you're using, you're not with what everyone else is doing, and maybe you're less likely to use those 30 days. Some tips, this is my last little thing, and then I have time for questions and all of that. If you're using data, which you probably always should, try and use data that the majority are engaging in the positive norm. If you said 46% of teens aren't drinking alcohol, everyone's like, okay, well, that's not very good. You want things that actually highlight what you're really focused in on. When you're using data or anything, always cite your sources. You can do it really small at the bottom. Use fun and engaging colors to catch the eye. So you want it to appeal to a 12 or 13, 14-year-old. If that's your target audience, then you need to make it look like something they're actually interested in. And that can be with playing with fonts and colors or whatever. You could look at our online platform and it's all neon, and that's with intention. And then using too much data will become overwhelming. Try to kind of mix in encouragement and enhance the point of the data. If you're saying, 30% of kids don't use, put something positive on each side so it's not overwhelming and people know what you're trying to get out of it. And then understand the reading levels of those you're trying to teach and reach. So often this happens in prevention because we use certain terms that maybe isn't how a teenager talks. So if you speak to them like that, they'll be like, go away. Like, we just won't listen. So, using lay terms, recognizing their reading level isn't college, or yeah, just reaching people where they're at. The average reading level in the United States is 8th grade, so you should probably write at a 5th grade level typically. But it could be different for your area or region. Yeah, that's all I just wanted to share with you guys pretty quick. Any questions? Well, awesome. Thanks for listening.
Great.
You did
Well,
a great job.
thank you for reminding us that we need to how to use positive social norms and the importance of using it, especially when working with our youth population. And I really appreciate that you layered in throughout your entire presentation the importance of including the youth in the conversation, including what they like and things that they're important to them. Because a lot of times as us adults, we can think, yeah, this is what the kids need to hear. We're going to give it to them, and then it falls flat and we wonder why. So, and I also love that you have us 3 minutes ahead of schedule. So everyone give Grace ahead of.
I love being fast. We are quick here. But yeah, seriously, kids are smart, and you probably have a kid that also really is into social media. Just let them make your graphics and then make sure they didn't put any derogatory things in there, and you're good.
Yep. And Grace can throw her email in the chat. So if you have any questions, if something comes up later, or if you're looking at putting together a program like this, you can reach out to her and ask her specific questions offline too. Great. Okay, well, we will move into new business. So the spring conference is a little less than a month away. I really want to thank Grace and Kaylee and Lindsay for all of their hard work. I know it was a little rough because we're really trying to go back to what we should be doing as a coalition, and including actual committee of people from the coalition to drive this work rather than staff. And I feel like we got there. We're striving to be better at it with every single conference. And I would like to thank all of our sponsors, the DFC, Imagine, the College of Eastern Idaho. Who am I missing? I know. Dot Foods, and I think that's it, right, Lindsay? Yeah.
Yep.
But,
and we had a couple of Giving Tuesday sponsorships that went over into this, but other than that, yeah.
Yeah. So the work that everybody did with Giving Tuesday and our amazing sponsors helped us raise the other $5,000 basically that we needed to make this happen. So your scholarships, the presentations, everything was 100% covered. So we're able to continue to offer these great training opportunities free of charge, so that your coalition dollars can go other places. I also want to thank those that did have extra money that forwent their scholarships this year so that we could offer them to other people. So thank you for those of you who had the money, that you didn't just apply for a scholarship anyway, but everyone's been very fiscally responsible, and that's really helped us on the staff side make sure we can balance things on our end. So the spring conference will be Idaho, April 3rd and 4th in Idaho Falls at the College of Eastern Idaho. I don't know, Dan, I know Lindsay was trying to get a hold of you last week, and I hate to put you on the spot, but do you know if we're going to be able to offer any kind of a virtual option to, I know there's a few people who can't travel that still want to participate.
I have not been able to run that by my IT yet, but the short answer should be yes. That should be a reasonable thing. And whether it's Zoom or if you guys use a different platform, all of the rooms should be equipped for it. So we should be able to do that without an issue.
Okay, so we will start. Those of you who, I know Marianne, you were one of those who cannot travel. So if you would like to, looks like somebody put the link in the chat. If you want to go ahead and register and make sure that you put that you, any special needs, that you'll be a virtual attendee, then we'll make sure that we position you the right way. We'd love to see everybody in person, and we've done a really good job of putting together a great in-person opportunity, but we understand that just some people with work or their health or whatever just can't do it. So that's why I guess these virtual opportunities are good too. And so everything is moving right along, and we do have a room block. Those of you who are booking your own rooms, I will have a link for you. I was hoping to have it this morning. I'll have it to you by tomorrow so that you can book at the special price that we got. The hotel, the La Quinta, is like 7 minutes from the college, so not very far at all. So we try to make things affordable and close. Yes, the agenda, Marianne, is attached to that jot form. So if you go to that jot form, the agenda is at the bottom of that jot form for both days. And we will be having on the third part of the conference will be our monthly meeting for April. Does anyone else have any questions about the conference? And we do have for Hayburn PD, we do have scholarship money to pay for hotel and mileage for if you do have anybody if you could spare anybody that you think it would be good for them to attend the conference, just let us know. We have sponsorship opportunity for that.
And I appreciate that, David. Right now I'm fine staffing at the moment. I'm still down an officer, and the applicant pool is extremely shallow.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure that you do. One of the dot food sponsor was they came on board to make sure that people from your guys' region could be able to attend free of charge, that we could scholarship you guys in. So maybe if you guys can't jump on, and if you look at the schedule and see if there's some things virtually you'd like to look at, especially I think Monty with his drugs presentation would be good to watch. And I believe we're going to try and record these as well. So if not, we'll send you a link so that you can kind of peruse it. If you think there's anything that is applicable to anybody in the department, hopefully it'll be able to provide some resources for you guys.
Perfect. We appreciate it. And I'll keep you posted as far as if we can send someone up to Idaho Falls for a couple days.
Sounds good. Okay, so no more questions, right? I don't see anything. And thank you, Danielle, for jumping in and filling that last gap of funding for us. I really appreciated that.
Of course.
Okay, so our memberships renewals continue to come in. I think we have a few other people that have not processed their membership renewals for this year. We will be sending out another group of emails to those of you who we still have not received renewals from. Those of you that have, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. That helps us be able to continue to do the work that we're doing. We are going to be scheduling individual meetings with each of the members to kind of go over their particular needs so that we can do a better job of surveying exactly what you need, especially in light of the fall conference coming up. It looks like that one's going to be in Boise as we rotate across the state. So we have some really interesting ideas that we're pitching around for that, but we'd like to see what the membership needs to make sure that we can continue to provide the best possible options for the membership. And one of those things, the conversations that we've been having and coming out of Washington, D.C. and forum and learning what generally coalitions, especially from states like ours that are mostly rural, have struggled with, is a lot of pitching themselves, getting themselves out there and understanding how to be the best voice for prevention, and really telling people what substance abuse prevention is. Sometimes people think of it as something that doesn't work because they want to focus on recovery and those that have already fallen into addiction. So really bringing home the point of the work that we do and the power it has to keep people out of that recovery space so that we don't have to spend as much money on that back end, how important it is. So the state legislation, the legislative session is in full gear. It has not produced any massive issues for us in prevention. We were speaking before. I did spend quite a few hours last week talking with Marco Erickson, as he is one of the House members for the Idaho Falls area. He had a bill that would have provided $1.5 million in funding from the, I think it was the liquor division for prevention. The committee that he sits on, it's slipping my mind at the moment. I believe it's health and welfare. I'm not sure, but the chair of that committee decided to put his bill in a drawer and look at it again next year. So those of you who are wondering about that, it doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere. If anybody has any that knows John Vanderwood out in Nampa, would love for you to have a conversation with him about and educate him about the importance of Idaho stepping up and really getting involved with funding prevention. But yeah, and we also have not heard anything on the fentanyl bill. We did put up a blog post. I want to say right before we put out the newsletter about the fentanyl bill and the issues around it, and what was holding it up and why it was created. And it's really creating what's really the trap hold for it moving forward is minimum sentencing requirements. There's a lot of people that don't think that we should be tying the hands of judges and not allowing them to take a case-by-case basis. But the problem is what would normally look like simple possession for most other drugs with fentanyl could kill a small town. So if you have a legislator in your area and you if you look at the bill and how it landed in committee, if you look over what people said about it, if you have a particular legislator that didn't like the bill, maybe you could educate them on the importance of doing whatever we can to limit fentanyl in our state, because it is extremely destructive. Just coming out, those of us who went to Washington, D.C., I know me and Kendall, Haley, Jim's not on right now. We went to the DEA museum and we saw the wall, the faces of fentanyl, and it's thousands and thousands of people on this wall that have died from fentanyl over the last couple of years. And it touches every age group, every demographic. Doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter if you're Black or Chinese or Hispanic, everybody. So it's the most non-discriminatory drug there is out there. So we need to make sure that we're being full force with working to make sure that fentanyl is not having a massive impact on our state. Okay, moving forward, we'll move into subcommittee reports. Grace, do you have anything to share for the workforce development? Is she still on, or does she jump off?
Yeah, she actually had to jump off. She was boarding her plane. However, Kaylee, I don't know if you have anything, but those meetings are still going, and we'd love to join you guys or anyone to join that committee. They meet, as you can see on the agenda, they meet every third Friday of the month. And if you're not included in that email chain and you'd like to be, just put a note in the chat and I'll make sure that Grace gets you added.
And we do have a two-part webinar coming up that is focused around helping you get better at using the customer service model to pitch your prevention efforts to your community. We've over the last I'll say, well, for me, 3 years, but really for the last 6 months, we've been working closely with some of our coalitions, and those that have been struggling, it's where they tell us nobody knows what we do, or we don't know who else to reach out to. So what we don't understand is who would be considered our customers in the prevention space. And a lot of times, because we're nonprofits, because we work in the community, because we don't sell anything, we don't think we have what you call a quote unquote customer. And what we're doing is we're bringing virtually Michael Burnett, who I have worked with a lot over the years in the prevention space and in other spaces, really pegged down for us what we can do in this nonprofit space, what we can do in this prevention space to better promote ourselves and pitch ourselves. It would be great if on the news, when they're pitching these, nonprofits that are doing amazing things, or these organizations doing amazing things, that the prevention folks, those of you out there doing amazing stuff, that you guys are part of those conversations. When they have these big, fundraising banquets and stuff, and they bring out the heavy hitters and in the community work, it would be great to start seeing some of our prevention folks. But I think we first need to let people know that we exist outside of the people that we touch. We need to make sure that we're having a better impact. And what's really nice is, as part of this workshop, you'll also get a copy of his book. So you're going to have something tangible to hold in your hand. And he's going to do 2 workshops for us. One, it will be March 22nd, I believe. Is that right, Lindsay? March 22nd of this month. And then he'll be back with us in May. I think May 24th. Lindsay, can you put the link from the website into chat? That way, there's a link there where you can register. And if you guys could register as soon as possible, because he's actually going to be mailing you copies of the book before we meet with him on the 22nd. So, and we do have limited spaces. So members first come, first serve. And then if we don't get, I think we'll have room for 30. If we don't get 30, up until the workshop, then I'll open it up to some of our outside partners. But anybody who is in this call is more than welcome to register and have a colleague sit in with you at the computer if you have somebody else who is interested as well. Okay.
Sorry, that's the wrong job form. That was a different one that I have for you, but I'll send it and label it. 1 second. Just keep your eye out in the chat. I was like, wait, I had one loaded and I pulled the trigger too soon.
And then legislative committee, David Roth has been kind of flexing with his role at BYDC. He's still at BYDC. He took on another position outside of prevention. So we really haven't had a chance to meet with him. The legislative committee has really been mostly about hyper politics and education. There has been some prevention stuff, some drug stuff feathered in there, but nothing that has really is mostly been about education, abortion, and other hot button political issues. So I guess the message that I would send is that we need to be continuing to look for opportunities to have conversations with our legislators and educate them on what's important to us. And the Office of Drug Policy does have a really good bill tracker that they do have, that you can go to their website and you could go in there and you could look for specific things. Like you could put in, I want to get reports on very specific things, or you could go through there and look at every single bill, or you could say, I want to get everything. I know I use it, and I learned to use it from Kendall. I know Kendall uses it, and she and I share a proclivity for liking more of the political side of things, watching things more closely. So, and we will be having the legislative committee meetings. Can you remind me? Oh, they'll meet the Thursday before the monthly meeting. We didn't have one this meeting because we were kind of trying to get caught up on things, but the last Thursday of this month, we'll be holding this meeting. We'll be putting that out on social media and to the membership. So if you're interested in that, let us know. We'll be holding those meetings. And if anybody is interested in stepping into that role and leading that committee, feel free to let us know, because I'm not sure. I haven't had final conversations with David, but I think he was not going to have time to continue to fulfill that obligation. So, but if anybody's interested, let me know, so that if he does want to step aside, we'll have somebody to put in that place. And then networking and membership. Do you have anything, Danielle?
Our next meeting is March 7th. If you guys want to join us, what we're doing in this committee is we are kind of collaborating, coming up with ideas of where to be networking, where to get additional members into our coalition, committee here, and could just really use some extra help. If anyone wants to jump in and join us, I would love it. We do have our next one scheduled. And then I did want to mention real fast, Lindsay, did you send me the invoice yet? Because I just went through my email. You did? Did I miss
Yeah.
it?
Do you know what? I just got another email saying that someone didn't get my email. So I'm like, what's going on? So I'm actually, I literally was just typing you an email, Danielle, like, hey, did you get
that's
this?
okay. I just want to make sure, because my accounting department takes a little bit to pay people. So I went through mine and looked, and I didn't see that I submitted it yet. So whenever you do, I will submit it and we'll get you paid.
Yeah, yeah, I'll send it again. I forwarded one from David, so maybe look under David's email instead of mine. Maybe it showed up that way, but I'll just send it to you again in the next few minutes.
Thank you. That's all I have, unless you guys have any questions for me with the marketing and networking committee. Okay.
All right. So move to updates. I'll start in Grace is gone, right? Region 1. And I don't think we have that PFS coordinator here. Region 2, Natasha, you want to talk about what's going on in Region 2?
Sure. So we have hit the door running this year on fire. It's been really awesome. When I first started here, I was a little bit behind on understanding all of it, but helping Kelly with the DFC grant, I've really gotten an idea of what I need to do to help, do my job better. So YAC meetings with our Youth Action Council are going absolutely amazing. We're teaching leadership skills every Monday. And so at each event that we're planning, I'm having one of the kids be the leader. I'm just there. They're going to run the show. That way they can learn how to step up and inspire their team and try to, learn those skills. Also, we're doing a couple of drives. One is the Youth Action Council drive, try to get more youth to join. The other one is with our, we have kind of like a team thing where we have different people in our community. We have a pastor, we have business people, and we get ideas from them of what they see in the community that we can jump in and help with. We also had a meeting with our high school principal, love that man to pieces. And he told us where we could step in and help. I'll be finished with life skills classes at the around March 18th, and they are super stoked to have us teach that in the high school. We're going to start with the middle school kids. Hoping to have a Renaissance fair in August down at the park for the community. We'll have a big event at the park June and July. Got to get outside in the summer while we can. So the kids and I are working on what those will be. I did the Catch My Breath program. Thank you for putting me in touch, David, with all those people. And I can now teach that at the high school. So when kids are caught vaping, they're going to have me come up to the school on a Friday, because we have Friday school. And the kids who were caught and ticketed will be forced to come to see me, and we will show them the Catch My Breath program. And they'll go through that program and earn a certificate, so that at least we know they understand the dangers of it. It may not get them to stop, but it's a start. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, just I'm excited. We've hit the ground running, and we're actually plugged into our community a lot more than I used to be. So we have other programs coming. Our spiritual guy, our pastor on our board, sees a problem between 6 and 8 p.m. in our community. It's kind of like the witching hour, so to speak, of when kids can get in the most trouble. So he recommends that each church in our community, because we have more churches than people, each one of them take a day, and from 6 to 8, they offer a youth group and a free dinner. So we're going to try to get that kicked off as well. So yeah, that about covers it, I think.
Great. I do know that we had we were with Charlene's kids and a few of the adults of the coalition when we were at the Capitol in Cadca, and those kids are amazing. That was a good time. Had a lot of steps that day, but it was a good time. So awesome. Kaylee, you want to go for the PFS?
Yeah, we have some of our positive social norms campaigns going with Grace still. They're on social media, and we have them as print posters. We just got the posters printed and are going to start distributing them this month. We have a couple things going on for spring break that have positive social norms messaging. Those are billboards and coffee sleeves that are going to be around in the communities. Last week we had an SBIRT training, and we're working on scheduling a few other trainings for the rest of this year, maybe some mental health first aid and DITEP trainings. I guess kind of looking ahead, we're getting ready to do some drug take back day stuff in April, and then working with Grace to do some scholarships to the Idaho Youth Summit this summer. And other than that, just kind of continuing the usual prescription drug safety supply distribution, the Deterra lock boxes and timer caps. I think that's it.
Awesome. I'm glad to see things are still moving forward. Okay, so we've got Jerry's not here, right? No. No Tara. Kendall, I know you're not the representative, but you're on. Do you want to talk about what's been going on in Region 4?
I can chime in with a couple things, and then Haley's got a list as well, and I can't speak for too many of our partners. 2C is that Region 4? I don't know.
That's Region 3.
Okay, disregard that. Marianne will probably cover that. RX take back planning and resources. We're partnering with CDH. That's in the works for April 22nd. That's all I have. I'm going to pass it over to Haley. I wasn't prepared.
Sorry.
Okay, so just a couple things that I'm working on. We're doing some prep for a social media campaign for National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week. So just creating materials and then posting that entire week. That's the March 20th through the 24th. We are also hosting a catch training at the PD to hopefully get some SROs trained up on it, and then Kendall and myself. And the last thing is we have launched our new newsletter. So if anyone is interested in receiving our newsletter, if you want to just put your email in the chat or send me a message directly, and then I can add you to that list. That's it for me.
Awesome. Thanks, Haley. Sylvia, you wanted to talk about Valley County?
Sure. Yeah, in fact, a couple of things. I've been trying to get a YAC representative here. So keep working on that for you guys. But I am on the steering committee for the Valley County Opioid Response Project, which is a consortium. And we just received a grant last year from another grant through HRSA. And YAC is one of the recipients of that. So if anybody is interested in learning more about some of these HRSA grants and how to, collaborate on it, we've been very successful for our county. I think this is our third or fourth one. I think it's our fourth one. This particular one is a behavioral health, and the last one was opioid. But they do want you to address substance misuse. And so please reach out to me if you want to connect. YAC though is really moving forward on the Icelandic prevention approach. We have a strong group in Cascade, and they are starting out with the Cascade Teen Center. So I'll be doing some work with them starting this Friday. And then in New Meadows, they've been able to develop a small, a very new coalition down there under Planet Youth. So and I think, I want to say, is it Tara that's in Region 3?
Yes.
CPH? Yeah, so she's been working with that group with YAC, I believe. Patty Jardina, I have a hard time saying her name. Jardina is the new YAC executive director. So if you're in the area or you want to connect or learn more about what they're doing, please reach out. I think too, the cool thing, Teresa Fonslow has kind of been able to, I think we're finally getting an in for Planet Youth or Icelandic prevention approach with the McCall Donley Middle School. So things are happening. And anyways, if anybody has questions on anything, or I love connecting people, so reach out.
Awesome. Thanks, Sylvia.
Yeah.
Mary Ann, you're our Region 5 person all the time.
Yep, I think so. Well, let's see. In Region 5, the PFS program anyway is we did a DITAP training, had, let's see, 16 people in that. That went well. Our life skills training, we just trained 7 more people to be able to teach that. In most of those people were in the Burley Rupert areas, so that they'll some of them will be able to offer the life skills training at the Rupert Boys and Girls Club. And then Simply Hope had new staff that they needed trained in it. And then also a middle school counselor up in Blaine County will be adding that in. We have some partners that are teaching the Positive Action family classes in Lincoln County, Twin Falls, Gooding, and I believe they're trying to get one started over in Burley, but I haven't heard if that's actually going to happen yet or not. We have a SBIRT, or Screening, Brief Intervention and Referral to Treatment training, coming up next week. And the sticker shock type thing that we are doing is now going to be on prescription bags. When you go to a pharmacy, the bags that they put your prescription in will have messages about lock, monitor, and dispose, as well as the new suicide 988 hotline numbers in English and Spanish, and then also information about vaping and naloxone. So we had several of our programs go together, and we're all putting stuff on this bag. So we're taking advantage of all the space that's there. We are also trying to get a youth mental health first aid class put together. It's been kind of iffy, but I'm hoping with after spring break that might actually meld a little bit. And then for my youth mental health outreach that I've been doing, I've been getting a lot of journals out. The PFS program funded being able to get a little over 1,000 more. And then I applied for and received 2 other outside grants that was able to fund another 1,500. And then St. Luke's and the Southern Idaho Youth Succeed group are going to cover another 500. And I know that sounds like an awful lot of guided journal.
We lost you, Marianne. Am I the only one who can't hear?
No, I think she muted.
Yeah.
Wonder if I can unmute her.
I tried. It won't let me.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, a thing popped up on my screen saying the host muted you, and it was like, oh, okay. Where did you stop hearing me?
You said,
You were
we know that sounds like an awful lot of journals, but, and then it was.
Oh, okay. Yes, it sounds like an awful lot of journals, but we have had suicides, teen suicides in this area. And so the high schools and middle schools have learned about these guided journals, and suddenly I've been getting requests for them all over the place. So even though I just got a bunch of those, almost all of them are already spoken for. So I'm going to end up running out of them. For those of you that are not familiar with it, or you are familiar, but you would like maybe a digital copy so that you can fund using the journal in your own area, trying to get a guided journal for youth to use, which research shows makes a big difference, particularly for adolescents to do journaling. Trying to find anything that was even vaguely comparable was anywhere from $26 a piece to $30 some a piece for something that was just somewhat in comparison to what I put together. And if you get it printed yourself, the printer I've been using here in Twin Falls, it's only costing around $8 a journal. So big difference. So we're able to get a lot more of them out. And then I'm gearing up. I just sent out scholarship papers for IDFY's Idaho Youth Summit to be able to offer that to some of the students that I know would like to do it. That's all I can think of off the top of my head that I've heard is going on. Let's see.
Are you guys doing drug take back?
Yes, yes, the drug take back day. We're going to, like last April, we had Twin Falls, Haley, Gooding, and Burley. We're going to add a second Twin Falls location in the other side of Twin Falls. We're adding one in Fairfield and possibly adding one in Buell. We're still waiting to hear on that one. So we've slowly been able to build up to having quite a few more drug take back locations.
It's ironic. I remember a couple of years ago we were trying to keep your one going, and now you've grown to so many. It's amazing that
yes,
the growth.
And I think it made a big difference. You helped me keep that one going when the ball got dropped, and then more people found out about it, and then they started contacting me wanting to be able to help. And the Blue Cross office actually is the one that wants to run and help have make it where Twin Falls has more than one. And then the Weinhoff drug testing group is going to be running the one in Burley for us. So,
well,
yeah,
continue to let us know if you need any assistance on anything. And I think have you reached out to Leah over at the Radar Center at Boise State, because that's a place where I know, and Kendall, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they have Kendall's parent packet, and they can be sent out free of charge to coalitions that request it. So I know they have a lot of stuff.
We do generally. I have in the past. We get a lot of handout stuff.
They might be able to help get your journal out into more needed hands. I know journaling is extremely important. It helped me as a child. I can speak from personal experience, but I know that being able to kind of write your feelings out and to kind of feel heard without being judged is an amazing opportunity. So I'm happy that you're getting so many of those. Pray to they've already been spoken.
And in the front of it, I put a QR code that people could follow it to a form on our website. that people, youth in particular, could go on and fill out. It's a very short survey. It just asks more or less, has this journal in particular helped you? Has journaling made a difference in helping you understand and your thoughts and feelings? And do you feel that journaling overall is beneficial? And it has been 100% yes, 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 all the way through.
That's good to hear. All right.
Just really quickly on Region 5, Marion, I was going to say Jesse Williams from the Boys and Girls Club in Rupert in Region 5 down here, they just had a bunch of funding come through the Idaho Resiliency
right
project.
That's
so
Southern Idaho Youth Succeed.
Yeah,
that's what our section of the Idaho Resilience group is, and they're the ones that are funding 500 more journals.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make
so
sure.
I don't know when those will be coming through. They weren't sure how long it would take to get them printed up.
Okay.
But we have more coming in, and I did get journals to the Boys and Girls Club, both in Twin and in Rupert.
Perfect.
And I told them if they need more to just let me know. If I have them, I'll get them to them.
Yeah, perfect.
It's hard to know.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, once again, Marianne, thanks for that, and thank you for the kudos on the drug take back event. I'm glad Wienhoff drug testing is continuing to be a great resource for you guys. I know they work well with MEDC and Meridian as well. So it's good to build those business connections because they can really help
yes,
fill those gaps for you.
And the Hayburn Sheriff, I don't remember who that was.
Hayburn Police.
Yes, hello. If you guys have like a juvenile detention, I gave a bunch of the journals to Dixie over at the Minnecasia Juvenile Probation and Detention. But if you know of some other groups that may benefit by the guided journals, please just email me the contact.
And that would probably be the alternative high school, which is Mount Harrison.
Yes.
Dick's point of contact, but I'm trying to remember the guidance counselor over at Mount Harrison, and I'll try to, when the name comes to me, I'll send you an email on that. Also,
okay, that'd be helpful.
We are looking at trying to host Drug Take Back as well over here at Hayburn, and just kind of advertise it as well on the other side of the river to Manitoba County. I have one Spanish-speaking officer that plans on trying to hit a lot of the Spanish-speaking churches in a lot of our Hispanic community and let them know that that's a resource as well.
Okay, great. That'd be a good thing. One of the things I've been able to do is partner with the various radio stations and have them, they will do it as a community service to put it on there. But those that are Spanish stations want someone who speaks fluent Spanish to do the advertisement / interview about a drug take back day for the radio station, which they will then air for free. But I speak very little Spanish. Some, but not enough to handle that. So I'm still working to try to line it up so that next month we'll have someone that speaks Spanish that can do the ad that the radio stations would air for us to make sure that we're reaching more of the communities.
Let me see if I can't have, it's somewhat deceiving. It's now Officer Martin. It used to be Officer Alvarez. So when usually our Hispanic community sees the name Martin, it's like, you don't know Spanish, but she is fluent. So let me see if I can't elicit her help on that.
That'd be helpful. Thank you.
I love these meetings because we're
Counselor as well.
solving these problems. I love it, love it, love it. All right. So moving on to Region 7 is Mallory. There you go.
Hi, I wrote everything down so I don't forget, but we are working on multiple different things. We have a Be the Parent campaign that we're trying to work on right now on doing billboards. So we are working with the Salmon Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition, and if there's other coalitions in the region who want to partner with us, and we have some funds to do these positive norm campaigns and put them on billboards. So we want to put them around the area. So Rose, I know I'm calling you out, but if you guys have anything you want in Chalice, we'd love to get some up in Chalice. So just let me know. And then we do still have third millennium classrooms. We have those in multiple schools, with the schools having their own profiles. So third millennium classroom provides prevention and intervention resources for students who are getting caught with different substances. So say they're caught with alcohol at school or vape that contains THC at school. There's these classes, they're online self-paced classes that we're offering to the schools through their SROs to have them complete. And with those, we're able to give our student resource officers alcohol LifeLock, so alcohol detectors, and THC test swab kits. And so if you are with the coalition or with the school who hasn't received these resources, please let me know. I'd be happy to reach out. We're still promoting our walk boxes and our doTERRA pouches, and we will be having some scholarships coming soon. We haven't released it yet, but for Region 7 members to attend the Idaho Prevention and Support Conference in May, and that's in Boise. We are doing a positive action parenting course right now. We have a facilitator teaching that, and we're looking at doing one in Spanish. Our English one's going really well. We have about, we had over 30 people sign up. Most of them were from our health district, but we had a lot from other health districts as well. But over 30 people signed up for that course, and we're looking to do one in Spanish. We are participating in the Drug Take Back Day. We will have one here in Idaho Falls, and we're trying to get some other counties on board. And then just a reminder, we are doing the drug and alcohol trends education webinars. Those we partner with the drug and alcohol trends education. So Danielle Sheffield and her father, and they teach those. Our next one coming up is March 14th. So this month, and it's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's virtual and it's free. I can send the link out to Lindsay to put in the meeting minutes. But it's all on youth trends. So it's on alcohol and vaping. And so that's March 14th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. And then this is not PFS, so hopefully it's okay, David, but I did
fine.
want
Go
to
ahead.
share, Heather is on, Heather Hansen, she's our tobacco and vaping prevention and cessation coordinator with Eastern Idaho Public Health. But she's partnering with some organizations, and they are having a NICSIC showing. It's a documentary showing, and they're going to be doing a panel and event. Heather has a lot more information, but that is something that will be going on at the end of this month in our region.
You want to talk more about that, Heather?
Sure. So that's kind of what we talked about, David, when we met last week. And Jim, I believe, is on now. Jim has kind of helped coordinate this. So I've been working with Idaho Public Television for several months. All of the health districts have partnered with them. We are doing a vape contest that is open for teens ages 13 to 18. They produce up to a 90-second PSA, submit it just via YouTube link, and every district will have a winner. So this is a really amazing opportunity for really everybody, all the youth in Idaho. The top prizes for each district is $2,000. So it's a really great cash prize. Part 2 of that is the documentary. So this features youth from the area. So it's a really powerful documentary. The premiere will be on the 21st on PBS, 7 p.m. It's a Tuesday. And then we will be hosting a panel and a showing the 28th, the following Tuesday at the Civic Auditorium at 7 p.m. So it's a really exciting event for the community.
Great. And then you did, the lady from PBS, when we met, she did say that there was a desire to do more of these screening opportunities in more communities across the state, correct?
Yes, she actually wants to do a part 2 and a part 3. And then I have had some people from Sugar Salem and West Jefferson reach out to me and ask about a showing there. So there's definitely interest in more showings in the area.
And if somebody, because I know Natasha up in Orofino, I shared with her what we had talked about, and she was interested. Is there a way an email that they could reach out to you? Can you throw it in the chat so that they could let you know they're interested?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Right. So I think that covers all of our updates, and we are still ahead of schedule. I'm loving this. This has not happened in a long, long time. So new funding up, we'll move on to new funding opportunities. The DFC grant application period is open. I believe it's the end of April, midnight Eastern Standard Time that application is due. We are currently writing year 6 through 10 grant. I believe BYDC as well is looking at a year 6 through 10 grant. But if anybody has any questions, me and Jim and Lindsay have been knee deep in the DFC application protocols and stuff, and me and Jim actually got a chance to spend quite a bit of time with project officers from the CDC, as well as the director of the DFC program, Helen Martinez, and really got a chance to ask some questions and stuff that to make us more of an expert in this grant. Since so many of us here in Idaho are running our coalitions off this grant, what we heard from quite a few coalitions is they would love for us to be an expert so that we could help them. I know that we did get a chance to help Orofino with some of their stuff. So if anybody has any questions and they're too scared to ask their project officer, which they should not be, because the project officer really wants to help you, but if you are, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would love to help walk you through stuff. If it's your action plan, your APR, new application, if the CDC is saying things that make you fearful that you might lose your grant, let us know. We would love to help you walk through a lot of that. And we have a really, Jim, you'd agree, we have a really good relationship with the CDC right now, especially the DFC project officers, to where we could be a good go-between, right?
Yeah, we've had some great meetings with them, and they continue to call us and ask for resources. So it's been really good work with the CDC. They seem a lot more connected to us in Idaho. So in those meetings we had in Washington, D.C., I think were very helpful to show, hey, we're motivated, we want to make some changes, and we want to do some good things. So yeah, it was good. They were good meetings.
And those of you who are struggling through the DFC, you are not alone. I sat through a workshop that was just about the DFC grant, and there was people are having issues that were all very similar to each other. So if you're having issues, you're not alone. So don't feel like you're the only person, and you shouldn't ask this question because it's a stupid question, because there's no such thing as a stupid question, especially when you're talking about $125,000 a year. And if anybody's interested in looking at applying either this year or next year for the DFC, feel free to reach out. We did get a lot of good resources. Like I said, we could help talk you through some of the things. You don't have to focus on all the substances, but they do want to know that you're going to be able to give them data for all the sources. So that is something that I think might have changed since the transition. So we don't have to focus on all of the substances, but what they're looking for is data from our state on all of the substances from the grades that they're looking for. So there's some things that I've heard, a little bit of misinformation, that we've been able to help ask direct questions and get those very specific answers back. So training opportunities. We will get Mallory's next drug trends workshop out. If you haven't been to a date workshop, I would strongly suggest attending. Danielle and Conklin and Terry Conklin do a really good job of trying to make it as relatable as possible. They always have new information if they can get it. And it's always good to sit through if you have time, because even if you've been through one of them before, it's almost like reading a book you read before. You pick up on something that you didn't pick up on last time. We will have the relationship imprinting two-part workshop coming up. It is here on the agenda. March 22nd is the first one. May 24th is the second one. If you guys could I did put the link in there. I will do it again. If you could get that registration done as soon as possible so that we can get those books out to you guys before the 22nd, that would be extremely helpful. And then the Idaho Office of Drug Policy, still they have that online training where you can go and get the provisional prevention specialist certification and work towards your certified prevention specialist. I think this is at least getting the provisional is a requirement for if you're applying for block grant funds or if you're thinking about applying for block grant funds. But the training is there, and then you also have our conference, and you have the the state superintendent's prevention conference coming up later on in, is it late April, early May? The ISPC. When is Mallory? When is the state superintendent conference?
It's in May. It is I just want to make sure I'm pulling up the right dates. It's the 4th and 5th.
And it's in Boise, right?
Yes, I'll put the link in the chat.
Appreciate it. So lots of training opportunities, lots of those of you who are looking for workshops to get to so that you can get your hours. There's lots of opportunities to do that. Does anybody have anything that they would like to add that wasn't on the agenda?
Yeah, I'm going to send a quick registration. I get lots of emails saying some people don't get things some months and some people do get things some months, and that makes me so sad. So I'm sorry if I do that to you. So I'm just going to send out a link in the chat really quick, and it just will ask you if you get our newsletters, our monthly meeting updates in the minutes, or if there's something else you think you should be getting from us that you're not getting, and just fill that out quickly, and I will make sure that you're getting it from me from now on. So that is my word and promise to you. So I will send that out in the chat.
Hey.
Anybody else?
David, I was just going to throw something in the chat as well. So College of Eastern Idaho, we had received a mini grant from Office of Drug Policy recently, and we, with that money, one of the things we've done is held a, we hosted a speaker, Stephanie Taylor Thompson, or yes, Thompson Taylor, I don't remember. Anyway, I'm just going to post the write-up in the chat. It was a neat experience as we strive to promote safe substance use or substance abuse prevention on our campus.
Awesome. We'll make sure we get that into the agenda as well. Maybe we can find a way to share that into our upcoming newsletter.
Okay.
All right. If nobody has anything else, Rose, you want to
No, you
call
are
for
good.
an adjournment?
This was a good meeting. I will entertain motions to adjourn, please. Don't be shy. Okay.
This is Kelly, and I make a motion to adjourn.
Thanks, Kelly. A second for that motion?
I'll second.
Thanks, Ryan. Any discussion? We all ready to go to lunch?
All ready.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Opposed? It was a good meeting. I hope to see a bunch of you in Idaho Falls next month. I hope, Ryan, that you or one of your people can come. That would be great having you involved. And very excited that everybody showed up today. Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good rest of the week.
Yes, everybody have a rocking week. Thanks
Dr.
for
Ryan
everything.
Holbert. Sorry, yes, you too. Ryan, if I could get a word with you really quickly before you jump off. Or Ryan Holbert, not Ryan Merletto, sorry.
Okay. Thanks, David, Lindsay, Jim, everybody. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Ryan,
Bye.
did you need to talk with me?
Yeah, hi, Dr. Holbert. I was just wondering, I just sent you an email this morning, but I don't know if you got the chance to look at it yet. On the conference, did you have I have someone requesting if we could switch time slots with you, and I just wanted to make sure that would be okay with you.
Okay, what time are you thinking?
Yeah, let me just pull that open. Sorry, I don't want to give you the wrong times. And I'm a little bit chaotic right now, so I know I would.
No problem. Sorry, I missed that email.
Oh no, and I just sent it maybe an hour ago. So you're fine. But I just thought I saw you and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna ask him. So right now I have you listed for Tuesday at 11 to 12:30, and I was wondering if I could switch you to 11 or on that same day from 1:30 to 3.
That'd be fine. Yeah, I'm planning on being there both days, so that'd be fine.
Wonderful. Then I will get that switched over. So thank you so much.
You bet. Have a good day. Thanks for the good meeting.
Yeah.
Take good care. Goodbye.
You too.
Bye.
Take care.